The full-time whistle has just blown at Franklin's Gardens in the Champions Cup round of 16 tie between Northampton and Munster. A traditional and titanic tussle between two of the competition's heavyweights, both previous winners of the competition, and it did not disappoint, did it? It was, particularly that first half, epic. The best team did win in the end, and spoiler alert, that winner, Northampton Saints. Congratulations to them. 24 points to 14 it finished, and that felt immediately, as soon as the whistle went to start the game, it felt like a Champions Cup knockout tie should feel. It felt like it could have been a final. Of course, we can't get too far into this without mentioning R.G. Snyman, who had to pull out yesterday. Illness meant that he couldn't take to the field for Munster. Munster fans must be just pulling their hair out, because what an unbelievable player R.G. Snyman is. And how much money have they spent on having his services, or theoretically having his services? Because am I right in saying this? I've seen this written down and said, but is this absolutely right? Had R.G. Snyman been able to play today, it would have been the first time him and Tadhg Beirne would have started together for Munster. That's unreal. And in the build-up the other day, I was talking about this being the best lock pairing in club rugby anywhere. And unfortunately, we weren't able to see it today. And that was a big, big loss for Munster. And the other stat is that it can't be right, surely. R.G. Snyman has never started a game at Thomond Park. Surely not. That's just unreal. He must feel awful that he hasn't been able to give his money's worth to Munster. And then he's going to go off to Leinster. And what's the bets? He'll be completely fit to play in the big games for them. Poor guy. And a shame for Munster as well. This was, of course, Peter O'Mahony against Courtney Lawes as well. Two absolute legends. And the two teams in the first half played how you would expect Courtney Lawes and Peter O'Mahony led teams to play. Full-blooded, all in, violent, in the best possible way. I will just say that 12:30 is a rubbish time to have a kick-off for a game like this. But fair play to the Ireland fans that turned out, to the point that some of the pictures from before the game looked like they were in Limerick or Cork. It's incredible, the Munster fans, the way they travel. And almost as amazing as the pitch at Franklin's Gardens. And I bet you, Peter O'Mahony, in fact, I guarantee it, before they leave today, Peter O'Mahony he'll dust himself off, have a word with his team, get over the disappointment of losing, and then he will go and talk to the groundsman at Franklin's Gardens and ask them how they get their pitch in such perfect condition, because it's probably the only lawn in the world that's in better nick than Peter O'Mahony's. So it was 14 all at half time. Yeah, two former winners of the competition, two giants. They played in a final against each other back in the day. 14 all at half time. You could not separate them. The number 14s and the number 15s for both teams scored tries. Ram and Freeman. And then for Northampton, it was O'Brien and Haley. Two conversions from the two fly halves. Really interesting seeing that match-up as well. Crowley against Finn Smith. And I think Finn Smith got the better of it today, didn't he? I mean, it was a mistake from Jack Crowley that let Saints in for their first try. It was also it looked like there could have been a knock-on in the build-up, which wasn't spotted by the TMO or the referee, but you ride your luck. And yeah, Munster didn't take care of business. And in fact, am I right in saying both of Saints' tries in the first half came from kicks that went out on the full, errors. And the wind was difficult, so that is the caveat there. But it seemed like Munster are a relatively young team. They're evolving. Maybe the URC win last year was sort of ahead of schedule, you would think, because they will get to the level they need to get to, but they're not there now. And I think what you saw was just the evolution in both teams and where Northampton are at and where Munster are at. And Northampton are a step further along. Northampton have sorted their defence out, which was a big problem last year. But their attack absolutely fizzes. And Northampton, this was the difference between the two teams for me. Munster had their shape and they have their pods, and they stick to their shape kind of regardless of what's on. And there were times when they stuck with the shape and the one-out runner and the pod, when actually they had numbers and just go. And it's on. And that's what Northampton Saints do. They recognise when there are mismatches, where the space is, and they just have a crack. And it makes it brilliant to watch. They are so much fun to watch. That said, I thought Munster, attack-wise, looked really good. Tom Ahern in wide channels is awesome. Simon Zebo was playing like a much younger man. And on the defensive side of things, Tyg Burn is an absolute animal. I don't know how the man does it. The turnovers, the work rate, it's just unreal. And that's probably a big part of the reason why Northampton's attack wasn't able to cut loose more often, is because you had work rate from guys like Tyg Burn just keeping Munster in the game. And you wondered if that stand up and fight mentality was going to be enough for them. 14 all at half time. I think the crucial moment was about 55 minutes and the benches started getting emptied, and that's where you saw the issues that Munster have in their squad currently. It ended up being those 10 points for Northampton in the last 25 minutes. And it was when Northampton Saints brought on Alex Mitchell, who sped the game up even more, and Munster brought on Conor Murray. I mean, I understand why, to try and get a bit more territory, but Craig Casey had put in 55 minutes of, full on by that point. So, and that the game just turned. Munster were trying to shift down a couple of gears because they couldn't keep up with the pace of Northampton, and Northampton just stepped up a gear and they took their chances. And it was George Hendy off the bench. Pressure was building. It was a set piece in their own half, and they attacked from inside their own half from a set piece. Munster have got their 3 men back deep, expecting a kick. Northampton go, okay, then we've got confidence to play. Ollie Slightholme off the wrong wing, busts a hole through the middle, and then it's George Hendy just on the pitch on the right wing who finishes it off. Absolutely class try. Northampton tried to get the lead when it was Finn Smith went for a penalty kick to try and put the 8 ahead. Missed it, properly shanked it as well. But Hendy in the end scored another try. I tried, and to be honest, he had no right to score. It was a speculative wide pass, and Hendy sort of got it on the back foot. Jack Crowley missed a tackle. Simon Zebo missed a tackle. They'll be disappointed when they look back at that. But I think the best team won. And Munster, you probably got no RG Snyman. That's absolutely massive. But I think overall, Northampton are just a step further on in their journey, and maybe the URC win for Munster could give you a false picture of where they actually are. Thoroughly enjoyed the match. We've got one more Champions Cup round of 16 game to go with Toulouse and Racing, and I'll have my thoughts on that after that game. If you enjoy the rugby content on the channel, if you get value from it, then you can repay me in a bunch of ways, actually. Firstly, just hit that like button, because that helps me reach people that don't even know I exist. I'm Tim, this is Egg Chasers, and I just want to reach as many rugby fans as possible. And if I haven't already, I would love it if I might earn your subscription as well. That'd mean a lot. Thanks for watching. I will see you on the next video.